Welcome back to I Bought Toys Today, the show where two old friends enjoy the best part of the toy collecting hobby, telling each other what we bought this year. Once again, I'm John,
And I'm Cohan.
and it's 2025. For better or for worse, we made it through one more year of toy collecting and have amassed some pretty serious piles of stuff. So, like everyone else on YouTube, this episode we're taking a look back at the stuff we bought this year to pick out which is the best. Because if we don't count as real toy collectors, right, Cohan?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this isn't original by any means. Everybody does top 10 from Dan Larson to everybody else who does a toy collecting a YouTube channel. And our top 10 is a little different than I think a lot of people's. They do a lot of new, like new figures that came out that they got throughout the year. If you saw our last year's, we do it a little different. We take our favorites that we bought. They could be from 2024. They could be from 1984. It doesn't matter. We pick our top 10 favorite toys we bought. And if you've been watching some of our videos, and many of you have, you know the amounts of piles of figures that at least one of us buys. So narrowing it down to 10 can be difficult. So there are several that did not, obviously several that did not make the top 10 because you only get 10.
So before we dive in, new year, new format, new all sorts of good stuff. So before we jump into our top 10 list of 2024, go ahead, like this video, leave a comment on what your favorite figure was, and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Let's do the thing.
Let's do the thing.
Go ahead, before we start again, because we need to put this off even longer. Um,
Mhm.
I want to talk about what did not make the list, because I had some surprises on my end, and I assume you did too. For example, there were a number of figures that I thought early in 2024 would be easy, like members of the Toy of the Year convention that just did not make it. Um, if you remember Chris Starr,
Oh, yeah.
I got mine in 2024, so he counts. I know some people got him in 2023. Um, but as much as I like him, he didn't make the top 10. A couple other Marvel Legends. I was real excited to get an Executioner who's up here somewhere. Um, he didn't make the list. I think most surprisingly, um, amongst the list that I think is very balanced and has a good variety. Like I have no more than two figures from any given line on my list,
Ooh.
and hopefully you'll help me balance this out. This might come as a shocker. I do not have any GI Joes.
Yeah, I'll balance that out.
Okay, I figured you would. And there were good Joes that came out this year. Nemesis Immortal, who I think just suffered because he came out real late. Um, I was real excited to get a Techno Viper, one of my favorite Vipers, but there can only be 10.
Hmm. And I have the same thing. And again, I also put it under the caveat, unless it's Knight Rider, that usually a vehicle does not apply. So you won't see the killer whale, even though it's a holy grail of mine. You won't see the platform. You won't see the HasLab Dragonfly. All phenomenal pieces, great pieces. But I like to tend to stick to the figure itself. Um, and the amount of GI Joe classifieds I got this year is a lot, and I could do probably a top 10 list on that alone. But I'm not going to. I decided to combine them all and really kind of take a look. Yeah, and John's right that I did have quite a few, but when I got down to I got several Marvel figures this year, which are great. Deadpool and Wolverine, two different versions. That Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, is just such a good looking figure, but not in the top 10. I don't know if I have any real big surprises that didn't make it, save for like the big vehicles. But there are it was tough. I mean, particularly narrowing it down to different GI Joe classified figures who I think should make it, who should not. I still look over as the pile is over here and debating whether I should put one or not, and I don't think I am, even though he's one of my favorite characters. Um, would be Doc. Doc didn't make the cut. He would probably be number 11 if if we were doing a top 10. He'd definitely be in the 10. But Doc did not make the cut, and I was waiting for that Doc.
You want to just jump us in there and
All
start us
right,
off with your number 10, and we'll go
number
back and forth.
yeah. So number 10, we will start with GI Joe Classified. Um, Figure that I enjoyed growing up, and the fact that he came with an animal companion is always a bonus. But the fact that he comes with two animal companions probably put him in the top 10. We start with Dreadnought Naugahyde, one of my favorite characters to play with. I didn't like him on the cartoon as much. I mean, their Dreadnoughts are goofs, but they over goofed him. But the amount of equipment he comes with, the amount of weapons, he's a poacher. He's got the removable hat, the large machete to cut through the brush. I guess.
Is that what that
And
is?
I believe that's what it's. I mean, probably to cut throats as well, but I
No.
believe it's just to cut through the brush.
Yeah.
But his knife, his bow, the gun, which is in its case and on the backpack, he comes with so. Well, I should probably do it so you can see it. Let's pop it open. He comes with so much, just so much, but he's able to hold it all, and that's a bonus. Um, but his animal companions, his wild boar pork belly, which is a different color from the boar that he came with in the original 3 3/4. That boar was light tan and a shock of white mane. This is gray. Just a fun, he's got his little door knocker right there. And then, so pork belly, and really should look it up because it probably means something. But, Yobo, the screaming monkey. And so yeah, so he cracks the top 10. He starts the top 10, I should say. His Naugahyde and his animal companions. Just look at that. Look at that evil monkey face. So yeah,
He's really
there's
scary.
there's number 10.
I should have said earlier, I have no idea what your list is going to be.
I have no idea what
Like
yours
it,
is either.
you are pulling stuff from all over the place, and you had a good year of collecting. So
Mm-hmm.
this is genuinely going to be a surprise the whole way through. My number 10 is the only Masters of the Universe figure that made my list.
Wow, that's
Because
surprising.
I know, but it was weirdly kind of a slow year for them because the stores around here just did not ever stock the new lines as they came out. So my number 10 is Mechanic. He's, I don't want to say he's obscure as far as like Masters of the Universe heroes, um, but he was just an absolute favorite of mine. He was the good guy equivalent of Stinkor, um, as far as I'm concerned, because again, I had a He-Man and never had a Man at Arms, never had a Tila, had a Mechanic. So he was basically He-Man's number two, as far as I'm concerned. And the new version, the new Eternia version that they put out this year is fantastic. Um, I love that his extendable neck is just these pieces that you can pose, you can take out to make it different lengths. Um, because that was maybe the one downside of his original version was that they had that play feature where you had to twist him to make his neck pop out. And for some reason, I've always disliked toys with dedicated play features like that. Like, just give me a a well designed, good looking figure that is decently posable. Um, Let me figure out how to play with it. And they added some nice stuff to this, like you know, his mace here is detachable. You can make it into like a weird telescope. Don't know why you would. Um, but he is a great example of what I really like about collecting He-Man figures these days, where it's just an updated, an upgraded version um, of the originals. Mechanic was real nice.
Coming in at number 9 was a figure that I was seeking and then kind of fell off my radar because I was looking for him at the beginning of the year and kind of fell off my radar and didn't show up. And when he did show up and I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot I wanted that guy. And the price was right. So we're going to dive into the world of not only WWE, but Hollywood as well. And we're going to do my first Rowdy Piper figure, but it's the They Live version from the movie They Live. Great, great cheesy movie. But I just love the sunglasses, the flannel shirt. He will remain in box. I'm not taking him out. I know the box is not in the best condition, but still he is staying. He's staying in the box. Even the back has They Live on it. Roddy Piper and just a fun figure. Just a fun figure. Hot Rod, great wrestler, one of the best, if not the best, on the microphone. Just just a good fig. So he's going on the wall.
My number 9 is also staying in the box because I'm going to pull something that I pulled last year, which I think he thought was questionable back then. And for my number 9, I'm going to submit an entire line of figures and not just one. Because last year I got the whole set of Mutant X figures um, that I just thought were great. So for this one, I got the entire line of Captain Commando figures.
Yeah.
And to represent them, I've pulled down Baby Head here.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should.
Because I didn't, they're all up on the wall. I don't want to pull them all down just to hold them up. But this is the perfect kind of thing that I'm looking for. It's an obscure 90s property that 5 people remember, but is just dear to me for the most random of reasons. And it also is a property that is just complete hot nonsense. Again, they have a like bionic cop, a dual wielding mummy, a ninja, and a baby driving a mech suit. That's beautiful. Like, what else do you want in a video game? And they just wander around and that's a perfect beat 'em up right there. Um, so when I saw somebody was in 2024 was putting out Bionic Commando figures, absolutely sign me up.
Captain
Um,
Commando.
what did I say?
Bionic.
Yeah, well,
Different franchise.
also good though. Um, yeah, when I saw somebody was making Captain Commando figures, just the name is ridiculous.
But it's beautiful.
Everything about it is so good. Um, and I love seeing them up on my wall. So I'm submitting all 4 of them as my number 9 figure because they come as a package deal, as far as I'm concerned.
Fair. All right. Going back to classified, not for number 8. So many to choose from this year. So many. But one of my favorites, and I think one of his accessories is what put him over the top. Excuse me. We have Quick Kick. His swords, his nunchuck, but it's the fudgy bar. It goes with the water bottle, the peanut, as some of the greatest accessories known to man. When he debuted on the show, excuse me, he was doing a commercial for fudgy bars and Bazooka going fudgy, and just, but he was always one of my favorites because he was just so silly. Um, and the way I used him when I played as well, and to have him come out, he's got his sword, he's all armored up, but you gotta have your fudgy bar. You need that energy for that extra boost when you're fighting Cobra. So, Quick Kick comes in at number 8 for GI Joe Classified.
My number 8 is one of the biggest figures I've ever bought, and it was also debatably the first figure I bought in all of 2024. As Big Voltron.
Yeah.
I love this thing so much. It was so inexpensive. I love the clicky sounds it makes when it moves around, and it stands out. It's far too big to fit on any actual shelf, so it just stands there on like the side table in the room. So it's been out for me to look at all year, um, which I just adore because he's so big. It's Voltron, so it looks great. Um, I don't think I had put batteries in it when we did the original episode when I picked this up, but like
systems compromised.
It's got a lot of different sounds. Like,
let's see if I can freeze these guys.
Like it's just great. I love looking at it. It's wonderfully posable for something that's so big. It's why I love it when they just make like an individual one-piece Voltron figure instead of like here are a bunch of lines, snapping them together because that's just real awkward and stiff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one looks great, and I've been looking at it all year whenever I've been in here doing anything, and I'm always happy to see him, and I'm thrilled that I have him, and I really like Big Voltron.
That's cool.
It's also kind of it's also kind of timely because I picked him up about this time last year, running out to Roma Toys out in Springfield, Ohio, and sadly, we're recording this the week that everyone has learned that Aaron from Roma Toys has passed away after his battle
I
with
didn't
cancer.
know that. I was trying to keep my ear up to that. That's sad. Little moment.
It's a real, just a real loss for obviously his family, but just for everyone in the toy community around here. He was a great part of it and just fantastic guy. So he will be missed, but weirdly enough, remembered at least by me whenever I look at a Voltron.
That's nice. Well, picking things back up in at number, what are we on? 7? Number 7.
Yep.
Number 7, we head back to the WWE Universe. Kind of a theme going on here. But how can you not love this figure? How can you not love this wrestler? How can you not love Rikishi?
Oh, fantastic.
This is such a good figure. Intercontinental title, his, I don't know what you should call this.
The
I don't
best.
want to call this a skirt, but it says Rikishi, his yellow sunglasses. I wish I had a Scotty 2 Hottie and a Grandmaster Sexay and I could just get him to do the little dance and, look how happy Quiche is. When the dumbest thing was turning him heel. Nope. Nobody wanted to boo Rikishi.
Yeah.
Bare feet, taped up. Or no, actually, it was on. But yeah, I've never taken the skirt wrap off, but just a good looking figure and just so happy. I've got another one, the one he's in the box.
That one's good too.
What's that?
That one's good too.
I like this one better because of the face. It's Happy Rikishi. Everybody loves Happy Rikishi.
Rikishi makes a good action figure.
Yeah, he does. So that's my number 8, the quiche. The quiche de resistance.
7.
7, sorry. You're right.
My number 7, I'm trying to sneak another one past you that you might disapprove of. I don't know if we count Voltron as a vehicle, but this one is kind of, sort of, definitely a vehicle. But it's possibly the most like significant vehicle uh, to me as far as like at least my childhood collection um, is concerned. So my number 7 is the Hurricane.
Yeah, when you said vehicle, I knew.
Yeah, I only got a couple, um, and I mean it is undoubtedly a vehicle. It is a car, um, but it is sort of a figure unto itself. Um, it's gorgeous, and it sits. Sorry, Hondo. Um, it has a its place. I'm trying to get my bearings on. Like it usually sits right up here on the shelf, um, and boy, like the teal with the flames is just as good now as it was growing up, and I keep it transformed like this, so I can have him standing on top of it, and you can see it taking up as much space as it can, um, just decked out, and it's
Who's the driver of the vehicle? Is it Matt
Hondo.
Tracker? Who?
Hondo.
Hondo. Okay.
Yeah. And it's one of those. A lot of our, I'll speak for you a little bit, Kohan, because I think our top tens, a lot of it comes down to um, the same things we look for in toy collecting in general. Just does looking upon it, fill me with a some combination of nostalgia and joy, and that's exactly what the Hurricane does for me, because it's a like I'm not a vehicle guy, but this is a vehicle that I had for a significant amount of my childhood before it probably suffered the same fate as most of my collection and went to some church rummage sale or another. Um, so I've loved having this back in the collection since I got it, and it has been proudly displayed ever since, and will probably continue to do so. Big fan. I couldn't leave it off the list, even if it's a vehicle, because if I just showed up with Hondo, that doesn't tell the whole story.
Right. I could have brought Cutter, but it's the hovercraft.
Yeah. Oh,
And I think that's why I need to leave vehicles off because, again, unlike you, I buy a plethora of vehicles as well. I probably could do a whole top 10 list of vehicles / playsets. That's
again,
that's a good pick.
if we were more industrious YouTubers, we would just do all of these things.
Yeah.
We got
All
day
right.
jobs.
Coming in at number 6. Jumping back to G.I. Joe Classified. I went classified wrestling, classified wrestling, classified.
Excellent.
Has a pattern developed? No, but man, when I saw the renditions for this figure and when they announced this figure, there was no way this figure would not be mine. And staying in that realm of karate and kung fu, you got to put Jinx in there. Jinx has to be there. I love the fact she comes with a little blindfold. Sometimes I use it as a headband. I love the fact she has the extra head that's her mask. Just one of the great characters. Her original weapons she comes with, the extra sword. I actually had her battling Vipra, and that's why she's holding this as such. Vipra was coming down with her sword. She's blocking it with this. It was she's just a great figure, great character. Love me some Jinx. I love what they're doing with her in the new when they did the Scarlet comic, and the relationship between her and Scarlet I think is really good too, and the way they're establishing that. So anyway, but Jinx right there coming in at number 6, representing classified yet one more time.
We're getting to the real fun parts, Kohan. My number 6. I'm going to dip into the world of the WWE. You don't get to keep that all to yourself. And this is a probably the latest addition to the top 10 list. But the first wrestling entry, and I think you know him.
I was gonna ask, do I know him?
Oh yeah, I, just the last episode when we brought Edge to the table, so I don't want to rehash all that again. Um, but he makes the list not just for being one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, not just for being a figure that captures one of the greatest moments in recent wrestling history when he returns to the Royal Rumble, um, but also because he's a figure that I've been trying to find like since it came out and only recently was able to do so. So he would have probably made the list if I'd got him the year he came out. But he sort of checks all the boxes of being a figure that I was hunting for, and just being a figure that represents something that meant a lot to me, and being of a wrestler that is just one of my all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a ridiculous pose. Um, it, if there is one downside, it's that's his hair, which they made so you could do that, but it's still a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it does a great job of sort of capturing the look on his face, as he actually came out, did his thing with the pyro going off. Um, One of the greatest moments in modern professional wrestling. So again, if we uh, are including at least some aspect of does it make us happy to look at it, uh, every time I think of this, it makes me smile. So he he makes the list.
All right. Coming in number 5.
Ooh, our top fives are
Top 5. Here we go. Not G.I. Joe. Not WWE. And it was hard to pick just one of these figures because they're all great, but I probably picked this one because not only do I love the character, I love the actor who plays the character. We're going to go with Vox Machina's Vexalia. Laura Bailey, voiced by Laura Bailey. That cool, laid back Vax is her brother, but also with the humor and love Vox Machina and posable and beautiful. And she stands the best of the other three who are all currently having a nap. One's actually, when I open this cabinet, one's just going to tumble and see how many other characters he can take out on his way down.
okay.
But,
Getting these, we didn't talk about it yet, but getting these down off the shelf to do this
oh,
episode was the worst.
I got lucky. She was the only one I really had to worry about.
Yeah, my number 5 is also the one that
Yeah.
caused me the problems.
No, but there's Vex. Look, she's just gorgeous.
It's a good
Just
looking
well
figure.
sculpted, well
Yeah.
made. Just a beautiful figure.
It
And
looks more like a statue than a figure.
Yeah, and she's just a great character. I love her. Love her. So Vex comes in is number 5.
My number 5, in the same vein as Mechaneck. It's a figure I played with when I was younger, but was very happy to finally get an updated version of. It was one that is sort of essential to my whole story as a collector, and why I like this as a media in the first place. Um, so my only Super 7 uh, this year is Hachi Man. Good old Hachi. I have him as real sort of, I don't want to say downgraded um, look, but like no helmet. He's got a different chest plate. Like his sword is put away. Where I could have him posed up with like full helmet on and his sword out with like the electricity coming off of it. But I think he just looks great in this version. When the headband looks great. I think I said it in the episode where I got him. If it had just been a helmet and not an alternative head, like that would have been a nice change. But my original Hachi Man is so important to me, and just my original Hachi Man and his dark fate were so important to me as a collector, and such a memorable piece of the toys I had as a child that I was so excited when Super 7 actually got further enough down the Thundercats line that they had little choice but to finally make him. Um, and he's one of my favorite from the line, and again, just one that I love seeing up there, where he stands with my original, not original, but retro Hachiman, who's one of the few sort of old school figures that I keep on regular display on the shelf. There are no others that have like more than one version, and one of them being the original '80s one. But Hachiman's just special.
Well, that's good. Number 4. Like you, number 4 represents an entire line, and not to put too fine a point on it, but the spoilers you've been staring at for this entire time are not only my hat or my sweatshirt, but this wall behind me, this wall right here. And
Is it
if you'll notice,
is
there's
it that one?
there's an empty spot right here. So
When everyone goes in that empty space.
who do I have to pick to represent the Mighty Nine of Critical Role Campaign 2? Well, as much as I love Caleb Widowgast, this figure is one of the best, just one of the best. You got to go the Dungeon Master. You got to go Matt Mercer.
Dungeon Master. Yeah.
With he's the Dungeon Master. He's his cape, his book, his D20. They're beautiful cards. Again, they're not the most posable action figures. They're reaction figures, right? But the fact that they made them, and my obsession with Critical Role and these people and these actors and their campaigns, just fun to watch. I was actually, and I can't believe this happened but this is a great character. Sorry, great character. It's the whole line. The original Mighty Nine go there, right? They're actually up there. He takes that hole in the wall, and then the 3 changes are up there. But I was lucky enough, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, I actually started watching at 10 o'clock p.m. their season campaign 3. I think episode 118. I think that's around right now, and I watched that from start to finish. So I went to bed right about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Can you imagine playing a D&D campaign for almost 200 sessions?
Yes, I can.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
It would. So that's number 4. Taking out, and it's that whole line right there.
That's very good. Yeah, just the cards they come on make that, for me, one of my favorite things that you've gotten this year.
Yeah.
We've made it all the way to number 4, and there has not been a single Marvel Legend on my list
Until now.
I mean, it's obviously changing, but it's wild that there have not been more. But at number 4 is a figure that I've been waiting for them to make. I've been waiting for them to make this version of this figure for quite some time, because they keep putting out other versions that just don't quite cut it. But my number 4 is Sabretooth, because look at him. Like, he's just great. It's the best Sabretooth that they've ever made. His proportions are fantastic. His height is great. Best costume. He comes with a couple of faces, but I love just the maniacal smile as he just stands up there with his claws out, looking menacing, looking absolutely nuts. It's my favorite version of Sabretooth, which was just a huge hole in my Marvel Legends collection until this year. So thrilled to finally have him up there with all the rest of the big bad guys, because he just looks great. and it's the Sabretooth we deserve.
Is he that in? Does he come in a 2-pack with Wolverine?
Yes, he did come in a 2-pack, which I would say is his only downside, because I had to waste money on a Wolverine um, that will never again see the light of day. And it's not a terrible Wolverine, but I don't care.
Fair.
Yeah.
Number 3, bronze medal. I also broke the rule of no vehicles.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Technically speaking, I guess no vehicles. But how did you not see this coming? How did you not see Agent Knight coming in the top 10?
I knew there would be something Knight Ridery in there, but again, I did not. I think I said it in the episode you got it.
Sorry.
Like, I didn't know if that was a figure. I think just because of its transformerness, if it was something you were going to be interested in.
It's Knight Rider. Yeah. That's it. I mean, what else do I need to say? I talked about him at length in another episode, but Agent Knight, Kit Michael, whatever you want to say, there he is, coming in at number 3.
Excellent. My number 3 is somewhat surprising that he's only number 3, considering he is the best action figure, best action figure there ever was, and the best action figure there ever will be. And it is my Monday Night Wars Heart Foundation. Quiet, kid, it's my turn. Heart Foundation, Bret Hart. The perfect version of Bret. I love the Heart Foundation jacket, the all black gear, just fantastic. And I remember I told the story in the episode when I got him. Like, I hunted this thing down across Columbus. Ironically, found him at the Walmart that is closest to me, and that I go to most regularly. Just happened to get lucky, and I think I went there on the day that they put them out, because I had not known that this was coming until I saw somebody posting about it in a Facebook group, and I went, well, that's my mission for today. Finding Heart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart.
That's a good pick.
96, 97 Bret Hart is just so good. Like, it's we've said it before. It's a bummer that we will never have an entire Heart Foundation faction. But I put this guy up on the shelf. Like, he stands next to Captain America. They're neighbors.
Yeah, you know.
So as far as, wrestling figures, this is the sort of the ultimate one. I mean, Bret is my all-time favorite, and this is my favorite version of him. So it was going to be hard to top this one as far as wrestling figures goes.
Coming in at number 2.
2 to go.
2 to go. Number 2. Coming in at number 2. Again, breaking rules. If I can have 11 represent one line, I guess I can have a 2-pack. And how could you not? How could you not?
Oh, yeah.
My all-time favorite character in Iron Fist, his best friend in the world, Luke Cage, probably the best versions of these figures, and believe me, I have a lot of these two, but just classic Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I love that green, the big yellow collar, and I love the fact that he has, says Luke Cage on his rings. I still haven't unboxed them, and I don't think I'm going to. I may buy another set of them to unbox, but these guys are staying right here. The box art is so good. They look so good, and they're just like that. There they are. My only Marvel on the list, right there.
Oh, My only question was how high was that going to rank?
Yeah. Number
Yeah,
two.
I knew it would be on here.
Yeah.
That's a good match for my number two because my second favorite figure of the year. It's one of my favorite characters, and they finally put out a version of him that I've been waiting for just forever. And that's why my number two is Marvel Legends Cable. He's just great. His blue and yellow version, his face sculpt is fantastic with his little yellow energy eye. Um, he usually stands right here at the front of my shelf. He is arguably the figure. So when I come spend time in my office, he's arguably the figure that I look at the most when I look up at the old X-Men shelves up there. Because this is his version from the Marvel Capcom games. This is his version from my favorite era of sort of pre and post Age of Apocalypse Cable. Um, and it's just a version that I've been waiting for them to put out because they always do very like Liefeld looking cables. Um, but this is honestly the look that he had sort of when I think is the most enjoyable part or enjoyable era of Cable and the X-Men. Um, so just fantastic to get a hold of him, which was difficult to do because boy did this sell really fast. And I think trying to look for him now, like his price is getting really silly. Um, it was it would have been very easy for me to put him at my number one figure of the year if I didn't have something that was basically unbeatable. Um, but he is one that I would, you know, was just so thrilled to see come out this year and was, you know, just it's one of the best cables that they've ever made, and as he is probably my second favorite character that Marvel has ever made, works perfectly. That was my number two.
All right. And number one. I think this would have been a moment if you were with me when I got this figure. Much like last year, you probably would have heard me see it before you saw me get it. But I spoke about this figure a lot. So there's just no pomp and circumstance needed. Vasquez. Vasquez is my number one. Not a figure
Wow.
I was think I would ever own because of just how pricey she was. I've seen her at toy shows. But shout out to Toy Federation and Ryan when I went down to the Carolinas this past summer and did a trade in. So yeah, she was basically, as I said on the other episode, she's basically free because I traded some stuff away that I didn't need or want anymore, and it covered her costs and then some. So the character I never thought I'd have, my all-time favorite character from that movie, beautifully sculpted, well done. I've gotten a Drake since, which we've talked about, but Vasquez any day of the week. Give me Vasquez. Number one this year is a figure that I thought I'd never have, and I got her. I got her. That's my number one.
No
Private
kidding.
Vasquez.
Your aliens collection is such a blind spot for me. Like I would have guessed that something aliens would have been somewhere, but I don't think I would have picked that for a number one.
We can get a little angle. There it is. It's not a lot. And if you see right, there's Drake. She goes right here. This is the Kenner version of Drake that comes with an alien that I showed before. There's the Vasquez that's impossible to find, which I never thought I'd get. And then you've got Hicks and Ripley and Bishop and and I'm sorry, Drake and Hicks and Ripley and Bishop. I'm there's two more I want out of that collection that completes it, and those are inexpensive. Those you can find on the cheap
What are
on card. So except
what
for
are what are
Vasquez,
what are the other two?
Apone. It's not a good rendition of him, and I believe his name is O'Malley, who's not even in the original set. But I'm like, might as well get all the dudes. And again, for $10 to $15, I'm okay. Maybe
Nice.
I'll branch out and get the aliens, but I'll just get the dudes. And if I don't get O'Malley, shucked. But I need Apo. So, all right, there's my top 10. What do you got rolling at number 1?
My number one is really something, because talking about Cable at number 2 and how he stands up there in a real prominent spot on his shelf. One of the reasons I really enjoy like looking at him in that spot is he stands in it next to his dad, good old Cyclops. This is the X-Men 97 Marvel Legends, um, which I've recently heard some criticism that people, that glare is not going to help, but people don't like his smirky smile face. I really like that, because I just think Cyclops enjoys being Cyclops sometimes, especially the animated version, which they did such a good job uh, with him on. So looking at he and Cable uh, up there has been one of the highlights of my year. Um, but I can't pick this Cyclops as my number one figure of the year, because this year I also got uh, this version of Cyclops, which was the sort of Mezco version in his classic costume, which I've posed stoically, um, just to give my Cyclops shelf some variety. Um, he's got his hood down, his glasses on as he looks at the visor that he's holding. Um, this version is great because of I mean, just the work that goes into it, like the clothing on top of the joints. Um, his eyes are supposed to light up, but I don't know. Mine doesn't for some reason. I don't know if something doesn't work or if just the batteries are dead. Who knows? But that is some aspect of it that I've not gotten to enjoy. But I like having the variety up on the shelf, because he's such a well-made thing, of such high quality, that he looks just great, especially juxtaposed to the variety of Cyclopses that I have, that he really stands out. Um, but I can't pick him as my number one figure of the year, because I have something that stands out even more than he does, because I have this Kohan. This is the Mondo X-Men 97 Cyclops box.
Mm-hmm.
That came in just middle of December. I ordered so long ago, with just the spectacular Dan Wiesenmeyer storyboard art all over it. Um, and it's got just so much going on inside that box. So my number one figure of the year is the Mondo Cyclops.
Good figure.
And I got in to order the limited edition version that comes with his flight jacket, which sold out real fast, let me tell you. And I've never gotten a Mondo figure before. I've always sort of oohed and awed over their Masters of the Universe selections, because they are just so A, big, B, like detailed, and come with so many accessories. And finally having one, I feel totally justified in having oohed and awed, because this thing is amazing. As simple as sort of an animated X-Men character should be, like, it's just so good. It's so well made. It comes with as many possible accessories as you could think of for a Cyclops action figure. It's got multiple, like, he comes with multiple heads, multiple visors. There's a version that comes without a visor, so you can put his glasses on, like that other one. It comes with ones that you can put optic blasts in. He's got a regular optic blast, multiple optic blasts, and then a real big optic blast. And because I have this version, he comes with his coat, the sort of straps that this version of Cyclops is known for are like they are not attached to his shirt, so they move around independently, which helps with the posability. I have him in sort of a casual look, and I submit to you, Kohan, an accessory to add to the list of just fantastic random accessories is Cyclops' steaming cup of coffee.
Yep, we can add that to the list.
Is it? It could be. It could be hot chocolate. It could be coffee. Who knows? Um, but I really like just casual Cyclops drinking his coffee before a mission, just greeting people like, "Hey, how you doing, Beast?" His he looks so good, Kohan. Like it is amazingly accurate. Like I don't know what else to say. I have him on the base here just sort of for stability's sake, but he stands perfectly well on his own. The articulation is fantastic. I I would pull out like everything else that comes in this box, but it would take forever, and like the plastic would be real loud. So I'll save you that. You and I can do that at a different time, Kohan. Because there's multiple levels inside this box.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the stuff you can see, and then there's the stuff behind that. Um, because again, Mondo just goes to that next level. There's so much. I mean, as much as I complain about like Marvel Legends coming with like open hands, closed hands, and that's it. I mean, they did so much extra that even if I got the regular version that doesn't come with this coat, just him in his costume looks so good. And like the poses you can put him in as he's firing off optic blasts, it's like I've never had a figure like this before.
You've said this
It's
to me on a past episode, and I'm going to say it to you. You are really fangirling over that.
yeah. Well, I've talked before about how like there are different aspects we like about this hobby. Some of it is nostalgia, some of it is just characters we like, but there's also an aspect of it of like action figures as an art form.
Oh, yeah,
And
you don't got to tell me twice. Yeah.
yeah, and like this is just like mechanically speaking, this is awesome. Like it's great that it's a Cyclops, but it's also just so cool in and of itself. Um, that do I have the budget for other Mondo figures? Nope. Let, let's not do that. But boy, are they good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it like seeing this one has only made me like all the more interested. Wee, um, like in their work.
Yeah, I'd be
Um,
curious to look to see if they have some of my favorite figure or characters in Mondo form.
Such as whom?
Iron Fist, She-Hulk.
I don't think so, because I'll say I'm only familiar with their X-Men and Masters of the Universe lines. They make other stuff, but
Yeah,
I don't know if they do just general Marvel stuff because their X-Men line has been animated themed, and it was just X-Men like the animated series until I think this is the first one that they changed the branding to X-Men '97 because I
okay.
think this is the first one to come out since the new cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Just be curious to look.
Yeah. But if they ever put out an Iron Fist, would I I would recommend. If you can spring for it, go for it. Because this thing rules.
Well, very good.
It's it's by far the coolest thing that I've gotten this year, especially with a steaming cup of coffee.
Steaming cup of coffee. I mean, it's no fudgy bar, but
Coffee go good with a fudgy bar.
yeah, you can dunk your fudgy bar in there.
You can dunk a fudgy bar.
There you go. There you go. There are our top 10 figures of the year. Some good stuff. Some unpredictable things. I know John had kept that quiet from me for about a month. Maybe a little longer. I don't think he never told me he bought it. And when he got it in, said he wasn't going to tell me what it was until really this episode.
Yep.
So I had no idea what his top 10 was going to be. It's not surprising it's a Cyclops, but it is a really good looking figure. But yeah, that's what we do, and I think I want to reiterate what John said earlier. It's just the fact that you look at it, it makes you happy, right? Like when I look at this wall of reaction figures, it makes me happy. Or those aliens, or these shells over here. It's just that, and that's what is the one of the best parts about toy collecting. And sometimes he and I will spill what we got to one another before we record a show. But other times we will keep it kind of quiet because it's like, let's see what your reaction is to this figure that I got. So
again, it's the entire purpose of this show. It's
it
literally
really
just
is.
it's grown up show and tell. Here's what I got. So
That's right.
Why not? We're showing each other just as much as we're showing you, our viewers. So again, appreciate it if you've watched all the way through. Get in the comments and tell us which of the figures that we thought were great were trash, or which figures that you've seen in previous videos, because I'm assuming you've watched them all, that we should have included.
Right.
And just tell us what your favorite figure was that you bought last year.
Yeah. And we appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the subscribes, even all just the views.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. It's 2025 now. We've got a whole nother year of collecting ahead of us. And there's already some exciting stuff on the horizon. So it's going to be another good one.
Oh, yes, it is.
All right. Well, as usual, I've been John.
And I'm Cohan.
And these were the toys we bought last year. Who knows what we're going to do tomorrow?
Thanks for watching.
Good night.